I worked
Sorry.
I worked with like sticks that I laid down crisscrossing in different ways. And I was just playing and playing. And all of a sudden I said, okay, I got to stop. There's a lot of layers underneath there. And then figuring out what I could do, that I got to accept that I'm going to be covering stuff up,
Yeah,
you
I
know,
found that hard too. Yeah.
another layer, and it changes everything. And each, whether it's a ghost or a full thing, you know, I know it's going to change and the design is going to disappear in a way, but still, you know, there are those layers underneath and somehow they come through, but in a
Yeah,
different way.
Yeah.
interesting. Really fun to see all the colors.
Yeah. Yeah. Great. All right. Let's see. Kate, I think you were going to look at you next, actually. So tell us what
Okay.
you're up to here. I'm intrigued by this one.
Well, I feel like, is it Tama or Tam?
Tammy.
Tammy. I feel
Yeah.
like Tammy, I'm like a clone. Everything I want to say is what Tammy said. I feel like, you know, I wasn't
Like
using
mine.
the word restraint, but the way I was thinking about it is when to stop,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
And you know, I didn't like the one that's up at all before I put the white on it. So
Mhm.
that was interesting. Like, I felt like that just made it so much more interesting, kind
Yes.
of multi-dimensional.
Yes.
And I was really trying to stick with just two colors and then the white. And I was trying to also be consistent, use mostly the same design elements. Just to kind of practice with that. And I was trying to be more thoughtful, thinking about what am I trying to achieve, slowing down, thinking about it a little bit. And I think what I've decided I want to do is kind of do the same one again, same colors, same design elements, and just like, okay, see, like, can I get it better? And I also tend to like the ghosts more than the original plants, which might be why I ended up liking this after the, you know, the translucent layer.
Yes.
The other one I had up, that's you know, off of this particular, I put up like the one above it. Not that one. Yeah, that one. It's a ghost of a ghost. And I just was sort of showing it because I had one that was very similar to that I really thought was what I wanted before I put the white. So then I felt like oh damn, I kind of wrecked it, you know, in my mind. So playing with that was very interesting to me.
I mean, it is. Yeah, for sure.
The other one, no, please. I'm sorry.
Oh no, I was just going to say that. No, you're fine. No, that's so interesting, and you know, I love that you're saying you're slowing down, and as I said, you know, I think after, you know, at a certain point, you're going to be able to anticipate a little bit more what you're going to get. Like at the beginning, I know it's very random, and we're trying all these different things, and it's always a surprise. But as you say, you know, after a while, you kind of learn. This one's interesting. Kate, what has happened here?
Well, those are these guys. They're you know, plants from the garden, dried leaves. Which turns out are pretty messy. But that adds a whole nother thing. And I guess I chose in a way to put this up because I would have, you know, it was interesting. It also became more interesting, I think, when I put the final layer on. But I lost the green. There's, you know, that's the one I showed. I have others with a lot more green in them, but I only have the tiniest little bit of green now left. So I think the next time, if I was going to do this, I'd really want to be more thoughtful about how do I put green in, and maybe I would do one more print on top of this with just green. A light green, a translucent green. And that might be fun to see. I don't know.
Yeah, well, so always, all of these are possibilities, and the beauty is you have many, many prints these now, and you know that it's pretty easy to just kind of put it together and go for it and see what else you can make. Great, Kate. Let me just move this out of the way here. Let's see, Sally, let's talk about you and what you're doing here. What did you learn? What was this like for you?
Well, this is the Prussian blue is my opaque.
Aha, yeah.
And I learned that I really love cutting shapes and then covering the print and
Yeah.
then putting it on the blue. And
Yeah.
then I'm always surprised at what comes out. I can't, my brain can't anticipate what it's going to look like. I'm not
Yes.
good at abstract thinking. So I just put the shapes down randomly and do it. And these two, I really liked the way they came out.
Yes, so you're using, as you say, you're using the dark blue, which has an opacity to it. But if you really wanted it to totally cover, you could just add a little bit of white to it, and you would still have a pretty dark blue. But you can play with that. But yeah, I agree. This is, the cut shapes, and see, you're consistent with not adding too many different kinds of shapes, and I think that really helps the whole thing to stay together. And here, so I think what you're doing is actually using, your darker colors as a foil for the light, and, getting some really interesting contrast here, Sally. So that's really fun to see.
Yeah.
Great. Yeah. Okay. And how about you in terms of, when do you know when you're stopping?
That was a good question. I was glad Kate brought that up, because
Yeah.
I feel the same way. I feel like I usually go too far and then ruin it.
Yeah.
So these two I stopped before. I certainly had urges to keep going, but I made myself stop.
See, that's great. And you guys are learning that. Exactly. And that's what I'm really excited about for you all, to get to the point where you can have your own sort of sense about when is enough. And all right, Nancy, let's look at you. What do you want to?
Well, I went down a rabbit hole. I had some Yupo paper,
Yeah.
started printing on that, and it gives this very kind of watery look to things.
Let's just stop and just tell people what Yupo is. Do you want to?
It's a synthetic paper. It feels a little bit plastic. Watercolor people like it. I think it makes some of the colors seem more intense. I realized I was having fun. This one has left white, and yeah, you can see how watery that looks.
Yes.
Well, it has. Go
I
ahead.
was just going to say, Yupo is non-absorbent. It is plastic. So.
Yeah.
But it's a very interesting surface to play with. If you're interested in, getting a piece, that would be really fun to do. But as you can see, what Nancy has is her paint really sits on the surface, and that creates really interesting different kinds of marks than you might if you're using BFK, or anything else that has like a lot of fibrous content, and the paint really gets stuck into it. Yeah. But so this is great to see.
Yeah, it's fun. And the other thing I realized, it's easier for me to leave white than to overprint in white, although this does have an overprint in white.
Does?
But leaving white is naturally a little easier for me.
Yep. So here's the left white right here.
Yeah.
This is
and that's part of my Crazy Pants registration
Crazy
issue.
Pants. I like that.
kind of like the result. Yeah.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. So by Crazy Pants, you mean that you took off the tape and you just kind of put your paper back.
Yes, exactly.
Back on where you wanted to, which is fine. Like you
Yeah.
can do that. There's no reason that you have to register unless you are looking for your edges to be kind of lined up, and you might, there are times when you want that, but then there are other times. So I'm going to guess, Nancy, that this piece of Yupo is a little bit smaller than your plate. So there are no edges.
Actually,
or no.
Yeah. I cropped.
You cropped it. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
you can do that too. And so
Yeah,
then you have a print that doesn't care about the edges, and then you're kind of free to move your paper around and, print however you want to print, which is also
Yeah.
totally fine.
yeah, kind of the gay abandon approach.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Freya, you have some great expressions here. Crazy pants.
yeah, yeah, they're very
Living-
technical.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Technical
Love
art
it.
form.
Yeah, exactly.
And then this is regular paper
Okay.
and
Yeah.
kind of doing, and again, it was easier for me to leave white than
Yes.
to make white.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
it's just doing some layers. My paint may have been a smidge thick, but
Mm-hmm.
I was
Mhm.
having fun.
Good. No, yeah. And I think this shows us, some of the things that I was talking about last week in terms of just take a paintbrush. There's no reason that everything has to be rolled up. We sort of learned that as the beginning just to kind of get our bearings. But if you like to introduce line, then you can use a beautiful brush stroke like this and, can be a great addition. So yeah.
And you
Okay.
I have a question there.
Yeah.
So I played around with something, maybe I'll show it next week, but what I did is I put the black with a brush,
Mhm.
or even I got like kind of crazy lines with the side of putting the paint with the palette knife, and then pressing down on it.
Yeah.
Did you put a brush on the paper, or did you put it on the,
I put it on the
Okay.
jelly plate.
okay, that's probably the best. So it still has the look of
Yeah, it's fun.
blends more.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, but sometimes you can also, if you have a lot of paint, you can put, your paints right on the piece of paper, and then put another sheet on top of that to pick up any extra paint, and then you have another print started. So
Yeah.
yeah, we'll be doing more of that too, as we move forward. Great, Nancy. All right, so you did a lot of them here, but
Yeah, I
want
got caught up in the process.
that's great. I love getting caught up in the front. That's what it's all about. It's absolutely. All right, let's see. Mary Ellen, these are yours, yes?
Yes,
Okay, so let's see.
I put my name down underneath
Okay.
because yeah.
Right, no problem. Yeah. So this looks like you left some white, and tell us what you did here.
Actually, this is, my plate was getting dirty.
Yeah.
So I rolled it up with that Titan green that you were using last week.
Oh yeah, Titan pale green. Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, and to try and pick up the paint that was on the plate. And
Yeah.
I started getting, that's what that white is. It's actually the Titan green.
Okay.
And then I picked up all that pink and I just set it aside.
Yeah.
And I needed to press down on my plate with a piece of paper to make sure that what I was printing got really embossed into the plate.
Yeah.
And that's where the pinks and the blues came in. It was from not from intentionally rolling anything out, but pressing down on the plate with the piece of paper to make other impressions for other things.
All right. So let me see if I can just get this right. So these marks, the pink and the purple and things like that were on a plate that had dried. Is that right?
It was on a plate that I was about to print. And it was still, so I took the paper and I pressed it down.
Yeah.
So that what I was going to print really showed up on the plate. And that's where the other one that's got the white in it. That's the other print.
A different piece.
This one right there.
This one.
That's how I did that, is I took that pink and I pressed it down on top of the plastic
Mhm,
that is on there.
mhm,
And some of the blue got picked up
mhm.
and was on that other print.
Okay, I'm not exactly sure, but I think what, Mary Ellen is I just want to try to, what you're doing is an interesting kind of combination of both. Oh boy. Well,
So it was just a method of making that the plastic that made all of these lines was gonna come out on the print that I was doing, come
Okay.
out on this print.
okay.
So I
And-
put the other piece of paper down and just pressed it,
Yeah.
and, you know, it picked up some of the blue. So if you look at this one here, you'll see the triangle on the right, which shows up on the left over there.
Okay.
I know, it's
Yeah,
confusing.
yeah, it's okay. Yeah. So, but meanwhile, just to say that Mary Ellen has taken this class before a number of times, and so she's maybe a little bit more risk taker here, and you know, for
I don't know about that.
I think so. But Mary Ellen, how did you get this? Is this the saran wrap kind of pushed into the plate?
It's a plastic strip of something that came as packing material, and I
yes.
just saved it.
Yeah, packing
and it's-
material.
It's very crinkly.
Yes, it's a great source of printmaking stuff. So check out when you get your packages. If there's anything to say, you know, tape and corrugated cardboard, all that stuff. It's great sources for printmaking. That's awesome. Good. And then this last one here, we just take a quick peek at that one because
That's balloons.
Oh, balloons are great. Yes.
And this one here,
balloons.
they were getting all stuck together, so I started cutting them apart. And that's how you get all those crazy shapes.
Isn't that interesting? By the way, yes, latex gloves make really interesting plates. And,
Mm.
you know, because they press down so flat and they also pick up, you know, paint beneath them. And, you know, they're really, really interesting things to have on hand, just in case you were looking for another kind of a texture. Wow.
And the pink one, I would have used a piece of paper like that to press down onto the balloons before I did the actual.
That's what
print.
this is. That's what this
Yes.
is. Okay, this is like the place where you blow the balloon up, the little.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh
The
my
mouthpiece.
God. Oh, that I would never guess what that was. That's so interesting. Wow. Okay. Well, thank you.
And the one other one there,
Yeah.
the first one of mine.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
Thanks.
The one on the right, or excuse me, the one on the left was
Yeah.
the original.
Yes.
And I used that square stencil that I had, and also some fishing twine, and
Yeah.
just painted on the plate. The one on the right is the ghost of that.
Yes.
And the interesting thing about it is that last week I had done the lace on
Yes.
the printing plate, and
Yes.
some of the lace printing showed up on this one
Huh.
from last week, even though I hadn't redone the lace because it was
Wow.
on the stencil.
Yes. So that's what I
the
mean.
most
The paint,
interesting thing about that.
it can transfer. Yeah. The paint can transfer even though, you know, it's been a week or so.
It wasn't the color, it was
Yeah.
the shapes,
The shape.
of the embossing of the lace onto the plate.
Oh, wow.
If you expand that, you can kind of see it a little.
All right. Let me just.
You know.
Yeah,
it's not showing up too clearly here.
but anyway, but
Yeah.
super interesting. And so, you know, just gives us all kind of thoughts about just, you know, you never know. It's really fun to just kind of take, you know, to be experimental and see, you know, what you can get, you know, just by playing with these different possibilities here. There we go. Okay. Yeah. Thank you, Mary Ellen. Yeah. And, you know, side by side, this becomes a diptych. We're going to be doing something related to this in a while as well, in future classes where we play with, you know, 2 images side by side, or even 3 that work to be greater than just one of them, or, you know, one or the other side, but, you know, just kind of one-offs. So when you put 2 images together, what begins to happen is that your eye goes back and forth and you make relationships. And so this whole thing becomes your image instead of just one, you know. So that's a super interesting little kind of peek at what we're going to be playing with a little later on. Great. All right. So who did we not see yet? Who do we miss? Anybody?
I
Ellen.
sent it, I emailed you.
Okay. All right. Ellen, we're going to work on you getting.
did we do Nancy?
Nancy, did we do Nancy? Nancy,
Yes.
Hurd, yes, we did. Yeah,
Yeah, you did
Nancy.
me.
Oh, okay,
yeah, I think maybe
okay. No,
Ellen's
there was something that I
last. Yeah, so let me just,
only did Tammy. Okay.
yeah, I'm gonna just stop share just for a second because I need to just get a better. All right. Excuse me for being gonna be a little bit wonky with this whole thing. Let me just see if I can do this here. Get out of here.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to say that I love just hearing the techniques and how everybody's
Yeah.
using all these like
Yeah.
super innovative ways. Cause
Yes.
yeah,
know.
like I feel like I'm doing weird things too. And I'm kind of like, are we supposed to be doing this? Is this like super simple?
Absolutely, Tammy. Yes, yes.
Yeah.
So this is, it's like, I'm going to show you these techniques and, you don't even have to use them. I just feel like I need to show them to you. And, as you print, you may decide, oh yeah, I remember now what I can do to this. How can I save this print? How can I make it more, whatever it is. So yeah, Ellen, what did you learn about this one?
I mean, I was just really trying to keep white.
Yeah.
in
Yeah,
position.
yeah. And it's hard to because the flipping over of the print, right? And that's what we're going to show today a little bit more how you can make that happen. So you're almost working blindly. I mean, whenever when we're doing this kind of thing, you kind of don't know if you're going to be able to save the white because it has to be covered each time with something.
Yeah, it's very.
Yeah, it's tricky. But nonetheless, you will learn how better to do that.
And
Yeah.
This one I added the white after.
Okay. Yes. Very nice. Yeah. Look at this. So this is, yeah, you did it, you did the right thing by thinking about so covering this stuff and then the paint on the plate was white. Is that right? Oh, wait a
Yeah.
minute. No.
I added white. I can't tell you when I added it.
Yes. Yeah. But your final color was this dark blue, this like a purple.
I think so.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah. But this is, what this does, I think, is it gives us, lots of complexity here. And, also people who don't know how this is done, we're going to be completely dumbfounded at it. That's what's the beauty of this process is crazy.
Well, I love the transparency.
Yes. Yes.
I love the and this one I just put there because it was string. And that image came up and I love the image and I'm not going to do anything with it.
Great.
But I just thought, it's a great, who would have thought that I would have gotten that,
Yes. And I'm going to say too, that this is one where the string, you didn't press down very hard so that you got a lot more negative space around it, right?
Yeah.
And how great that is to know that is a way that you can control, your images a little bit more. Knowing that you can do that is really a great little tool. Well, super.
I'd like to say something.
Yeah.
I'm just learning that using a lighter hand to press down,
Yes.
I can get like an impression, more of an impression that's totally different. I started out thinking I had to press down to get all the detail and stuff. And how it affects, how much paint I put down.
Yeah.
And how hard I press down.
Exactly. So it's, it is really a very tactile, experience. Like you really can control a lot about this process simply by, feeling how much pressure you're putting down. Exactly. So that's great to know. Ellen, great. I'm glad that you felt good about these and that, they're really interesting stuff to happen here. Okay, great. Any other comments or questions?
The other thing that I like about, I just want to say that I really like about this is the color combination.
Mm-hmm.
Is very powerful. It's a very powerful part of this.
Yes.
I sometimes would like it where the color is more intense, like the purple. It's like it's not. I think I'd like it more opaque.
Yes. Do you know how to do that?
No, that's what I mean.
Okay.
Aside from adding white.
Yes. Okay. So with purples and the dark colors, okay. So is this a color, Ellen, that is an open paint?
Yeah, those are
Okay,
open.
great. I think it's just a matter of putting more paint down.
Oh, okay.
That's it. Yep. Just, yeah. And that's also, you know, you're getting to understand how much paint you need for various things. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, you probably need more paint at the end of the prints, you know, like when you've got other colors down first, especially white, you'll need more paint to, you know, really cover that at that point, whereas you might not have needed so much earlier in the printing. Yeah. So yeah, you can always play with that. And if you've got a really good registration, it is possible to pull up your paint, you know, your piece of paper, and then go ahead and, no, it's tricky. It's tricky because you've already got it masked off. Well, anyway, yeah, but yeah, it's just a matter of more paint.
I could never do this again, by the way.
Yeah, I know. But you know, the more you do this, you're going to be able to anticipate. I promise you. All right, I want to show some videos now. Let me just see here. The first one I've got, I think, is what I wanted to show. Is, oh yeah, this is, I thought you might enjoy seeing this at this point in our class. It's a short video that I made featuring prints from the spring of last year from one of the classes. And let's see if I can make this bigger. Hold on a second. There we go. There we go. Okay. And we'll talk about how some of these were done too.
Oh, beautiful. That's mine.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah. So anyway, yes, that was fun, right? Whoops, hold on.
A little bit about design here.
Hold on a second. Now I have to.
So you might
Yeah. You guys, I'm so sorry. Hold on. Let me just
think about, how you could
hold on. I don't need this now. Stop. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, it's some of this, some that I just showed you might look a little bit more familiar now. And there were a couple of pieces in there that had lots of line. And you probably saw that, right? Then you're like, how does that get done? So I do have a video that I can show you today. That's called trace monotype. And that is the only way that you can actually get a literal line in this kind of a process. There is, it's really hard to get actual lines in this. So I was going to talk about that too. But yeah, maybe I'm hoping that by seeing that short thing, you just, people just really make such wonderfully different kinds of images in this process. Every kind of possible, thing. One thing that I don't have a lot of images. I really don't have anybody because I'm not teaching a more of a representational kind of printmaking class. Is representational imagery. I don't have much to show you there, but I have had students who've done plein air kinds of paintings, you know, where it's a landscape or it's, you know, something that's more representational, and absolutely you can do that. But, you know, because I'm more not representational myself, I think that, you know, the kinds of classes I tend to teach end up, you know, kind of being more about that kind of a, you know, way of working than the representational. But I just want you all to know that all of it is possible, you know, and this really lends itself to so many different kinds of applications. Okay, so let me show you these other videos. So the first one I wanted to show you is how to re-register, because I know that that's something that a lot of people are ready to learn. As you can imagine, I'm careful not to throw too much at people all at once, because, you know, there's a lot. And, you know, it's this whole thing about the backwards, forwards, the reversal gets people very, you know, confused, myself included, absolutely. But let me show you this now to just help make this more understandable. And let me just, okay, get out this one first here. Hold on a second. Oh my, the boundaries of my your work and that, right? No, I don't want that either. Hold on. Oh boy, I'm going to do this. Let's see. Playlist. Let's see. Here we go. Not the one I want. What I'm trying to do is minimize the screen here. That's what I'm trying to, there we go. There we go. Thank you. Okay. Gonna give me a second here to find what I am. So talk a little.
And how about
All right, everybody. I'm sorry about that. I'll give me a second here to find this. I did have it. I had it in queue, ready to go, but just give me a second here. So anyway, yeah, what I'm going to show you here is that, you know, it's really a great little tool, and you can learn to flip over your work. So yeah, as somebody was saying at the beginning here, the trick of it is that because the gelid plates are transparent, that is how you are able to find,
yeah.
you know, yes, that's the key. The key is that it's transparent, and you can flip your work over, and that's what I'm going to show you as soon as I find the damn thing. It's here. I know it's here because I put it up at top here.
Yeah, no, because I was going to say that one of the ways that I was trying to re-register, like I've taped my jelly plate down.
Yeah.
And on a piece of cardboard, and then I draw on the cardboard that says, this is, if I'm using like a 9x12 sheet of paper, this is where I want the corner to be.
That's a great way too. All right, here it is. This is what we're going to do now. Okay. Okay, I think I have to narrate this. Okay, so here's a print that I did a while ago, and I just left the tape on it. No reason. So the scenario is, okay, I had to put everything away because I was going to make dinner. I was printing on my kitchen table, but I wasn't done yet. So now I want to continue working on this print, but how do I re-register it? All right, so that's the deal here. That's our scenario. And so what I'm doing is I'm putting my print down on the table. I've got my plate, and I am now going to put it down right on the print. Exactly where it was, right? And and here what I'm going to do is also add to it. Okay, so yeah, I forgot that this is what I'm also doing here too. So
do you have paint on both sides now of that?
No.
Okay.
So what happened? All right, so here's the thing. Sorry, this is going to be a little more confusing. All right, so what I want to do is both re-register my plate, and I want to add something to it. Okay, so this works both ways. This really is, you know, how you would both re-register, you know, and also suppose you wanted to put color in a certain place, right? So I'm saying, you know what, I need something here. So what I did was I took a brush with paint on it and I just painted the area that I wanted eventually to have show up on my print. So I say, okay, I need an oval shape here, and I want to put an oval shape there, because it's very hard to be able to know how you know, you can't really, it's very hard. So you need to a way to mark on your jelly where to put your paint. Okay, so I'm using a brush. The thing is, if I told you to use a marker like a Sharpie marker, it stays on the jelly plate. It doesn't, it comes off eventually, but it's really hard to get it off. And then you're stuck with this image down there that can be distracting. So you want to use something that you can get rid of later. And that's why I decided to use paint. Does everybody understand what I just did?
Yes.
All right, so you'll see.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's just continue. All right. Okay, so I'm deciding where I want it. All right, so now I'm taking everything up. I'm going to hold it carefully, and I'm going to flip it over. There you go. And then I've got my tape on it, or you put tape on it, and now you've re-registered your plate. Okay, there's nothing on this image here, right? Because it's actually on the back of the plate, so that I can now come back with a brush and put color here. That's what I'm showing you right here. Okay.
Oh, wow.
Now this extra here, just ignore it. What happened was I did another, it was just a leftover. It was just a leftover from having done this video before, and I made a mistake. So I'm doing it again. And it just came off on the piece of paper that's underneath. Just ignore it. So now, do you see what I'm doing? I'm using the painted guides that are on the back of the jelly plate to show me where to put my color on the top of it.
I see.
So these lines will not show. This underneath, that's on the other side. So now I'm going to flip over, press down, and I will have gotten my image where I want it to be.
Mm.
See that?
Yeah.
Very cool.
So and again, it's also how, if you just wanted to start printing again, you would, we wouldn't put anything on the plate, just like, put it naked onto your print and flip the whole thing over, tape it down, and you're ready to go. That's really how you would proceed.
So wait, I thought you were going to do this whole other thing where you're just going to use those outlines of the circles.
Yeah.
Right. And as you flipped it, you create a first printing onto the piece of paper that's on the table, that blank piece of paper.
Yeah.
And then you lift off the jelly plate. And then you could create the second printing on your original blue and yellow print.
No.
Well, right. But
you could,
that's what I thought you were going to do. So like, this is.
Yeah. And
like at this moment, you still kind of have that option, right? Like if you decided that whatever it was on this jelly plate, like that you had done on this side of the jelly plate you didn't like, you could just remove the jelly plate and get back to like a faded image of your original drawing. If that, I don't mean to confuse anybody, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think we're just going to skip right over. I think I understand what you're saying, but let's not, yeah, I think it's confusing. So yes, I mean, let's just skip that. But yeah, in theory, there are other things you can do, but this is the easiest way to put your print back in place, and also the easiest way to know where you want to put a color. I mean, this, of course, though, doesn't explain how you might decide to put texture, although, you know, you could in theory, you know, still draw with your paint on the back to kind of give you an idea of where you wanted to put something, right?
Yes.
And you know, suppose you wanted to do something with cut paper. Because the jelly plate is very sticky, it is possible, you know, to put paper down on this whole thing first. Just ignore the, you know, ignore this. Just pretend it's a clean jelly. You could cut paper shapes and just kind of adhere them, you know, by themselves, because they are going to stick right to your plate, and then flip over this image on top. And then, you know, flip the whole thing back over to see if you had, you know, if you know, where you wanted your images to be. But I think I may be confusing. I think the first
Yeah, I'm
thing
not
we're
getting
gonna
that.
try.
but that's a-
Yeah, I want what you
Go
guys.
from the beginning of the
Yeah.
simple process.
Yes, let's just
Gonna
do that again. Yeah. Okay, so here I have a plate, a print that I feel like is not done. And I want to start reprinting, and I want to also at the same time put colors really where I want them, very, very specifically. So all I'm going to do is take a clean jelly and put it down onto the paper because I can see through it. Boom. And if you were not going to add anything to it at this point, you would take everything, hold it together, and just flip it over. You know, that's all you really need to do. And then you will have a registration that's, you know, really fine to work on, and you know, you can keep adding colors, and that's fine. But if you were, you know, also interested in doing something very specific, you know, like adding, you know, others' colors, you know, one way to do it is to take a little bit of paint on a brush and, you know, paint in, you know, this is a little messy because it's your, you know, you're gonna, when you flip it, you're gonna get a little paint on the piece of paper that's underneath it. But, you know, as I said, what's tricky about this is, you know, not, you know, there's very little that you can really use to draw on the jelly that's not going to transfer, that's not going to just stay there forever, but it'll also work. You could try, you know, some kind of non-permanent marker, but I believe that that's also hard to get rid of. It's just one of the, you know, one of the nature of this is that it's a little bit hard to, you know, to draw on the jelly and get your places right. I think one thing you could do is you could cut a sheet of paper out and just, you know, put that on the back and, right. And that will probably stay, like really, you know, smash it down so it stays on jelly. Again, because the jelly is a little bit sticky, a piece of thin paper will stick. Thicker paper won't, but thin paper may very well do it. And then in the same way, flip it over, you have the area that you want to paint, and then you can do that. Does that make sense now?
Yeah.
Okay, so I think what we need to do now is for you guys to try it. So let's do some printing now, and then just take the next bunch of time to take a print that you've already got done and try to re-register it, and also try to add something to it.
Yeah.
You know, let's just try that. Robin, yeah, question.
Would you be able to show us putting the line in? If not today, it sounds like we don't have time, but the next time to put the.
No, we're going to do that today too. We have time. Yeah, let's do that. Yeah, you mean to do the monotype, trace monotype? Yeah, but let's try this first, because I know that it's one of these things that can be confusing, and if people don't try it right away, it can get forgotten. So let's go ahead and do that for a little while now. And then what we'll do is, you know, think about stopping at around 10:30, and then I'll show you the trace monotype, and then we can play with the trace monotype for a little while as well.
Good.
Okay. Yeah, so I'm here. If you have any questions or problems, feel free to ask me as you're working. But yeah, the goal here is simply, number one, to re-register a plate and see how you can do that. And number two, to add a color somehow, you know, to something that you've already done.
Okay, Adria,
Yes.
it's like completely out of my head.
Okay. Let's see, turn your video on, Robin, so I can see what you're up to here.
So
There you go.
what did I do? I put this on top of my picture
Okay, yep.
and then I painted on it.
Okay, good. Yeah. You have some
And now
place.
what do
Wait. Okay, so hold on. That is not going to transfer. That's just going to give you the area that you're going to print, that you're going to paint.
What do I do next?
Flip it over. Flip the whole thing over, right on top of everything. No, the paper and the
So
plate.
the paint's going to be on the bottom.
Yeah. So
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay,
And you're going to have to repaint because the paint
That's what
is.
I wasn't sure.
Yeah,
Got it.
Yeah.
I started to do that, but then I thought, no, I don't think she did that.
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Bye. Thanks.
Flip it over. Yeah.
Thanks.
I know this process can be, don't think too hard. In fact, don't think at all.
Yeah.
So
How are you sure that it's going to be registered when you lift off the top?
because it is. It just is.
But I'm going to lift the paper off.
Well, you gotta put your paper down. You gotta tape your paper down. Tape that
Yeah.
paper down before
Okay,
you
but-
lift the paper.
This is in this direction is the way I need to tape it down. I had the tape on the other side.
Ah, okay.
Here's my tape.
Yeah, as soon as you start to think about this, it it just goes away. So don't think. Just follow those directions. Just yeah.
Oh, shoot.
Ugh.
I hear you. It's okay.
Who's having problems? Let me see.
Really?
Don't be shy. Okay, how are we doing? We give you another 5 minutes? Yeah? And then it'd be great if you could take a picture and put it up on Padlet just to kind of see how we did with this. So another 5 minutes. Okay, do people need more time or how are we doing? We're just really interested to see. Yeah, you're good. Okay. Yeah, we just want to see, how you did with this technique, just because it can really, really help you in many ways, just to get the main one is when you have to put something away, or you realize that, the piece that you're working on needs a little more something, to go back and be able to re-register is really a good thing to know how to do. All right, so yeah, go ahead and unmute yourselves. We'll just take a quick look at Padlet and see what we did here. No, hold on. Ah. There we go. Okay. No. Yay. There we go. Okay. So we're going to just quickly see what people put up here as far as re-registering. How did it go, everybody? Did it make sense? Were you able to do it? Was anybody completely confounded? Go ahead and unmute.
It was so easy. It was great to re-register.
It is easy. It is easy.
It worked. It's a miracle.
Oh, good. I love it. Yes, exactly. Great. Yeah.
It's magic.
This is Ellen. My jelly plate was not so clean, and the piece that I wanted to add the color to was dark, and so I had a hard time seeing it.
Yeah. What if you had used like white paint instead, or lighter paint? Would that have helped, Ellen?
Well, if the print would have been lighter, it would have been easier for me to see.
Oh, right. I see what you're saying. Yeah. But it's just, since this is not a precision kind of a process,
Right.
At least you have an idea of where you're going.
Right.
That's it's better than completely being, trying to do it in the dark. So that's
Right.
that's good. Oh, great. People are putting up such fun pieces. Oh, Kate, you were able to do that. Kate, this one is yours, where you were talking about adding green back in there and you figured out how to do it.
Oh my gosh.
Good. Yeah, that's great. I'm glad you were. I think you're muted. I can't hear you. But that's exactly the kind of thing that.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. But it was good thing. You did it.
Yes, but I didn't register that paper. That was the first time I did it, and I realized it's important to register the paper if you want it exactly where you want it.
Yes. Yes.
However, I kind of enjoyed the photos. Don't do these just, but I sort of enjoyed the way that turned out.
Yeah, that's great. Yep. But the point is, kind of how to do it.
Yeah.
To get it if you needed to do that.
Yeah.
That's the whole point here, everybody. And
Yeah.
Don't want to take a lot of time to talk about, but if anyone has anything particular that they wanted to mention, in terms of difficulty or not understanding it, that now is the time. But Mary Ellen, looks like you got this right on the money here. Kate, this is another one of yours, Kate. Yeah.
I mean, the thing I would just say is this, again, the shadow doesn't show, but I'm not a very good painter. So I used the roller and some shapes and did it a couple of times. And anyway, it was just fun.
Yeah, that's great. That's
that
great.
was another thing to do.
Exactly. There's, like I said, and two, any way you can get kind of like markings on the back of your jelly so that you know where you want to put something.
Yeah.
That is great. So yeah, Mary Ellen, great, good. Yep. Katie, and Nancy, yep. Sally, we looked at. Okay, anybody else? Tammy, did you put one up there that you wanted to show us? Tammy, you're muted.
Oh no, I didn't put anything up. I'm in the middle of something, but yeah.
Okay.
I get the point. Thank you.
Okay, great.
Did you look at the second one of mine for a second?
Sure.
What I did was, see that one right there? I drew in my shapes and then I used a stencil.
Yep.
on top.
Great. It's just like, yeah, as a way to kind of give you, landmarks. That's
Another element, another
Yeah.
layer.
exactly.
Yeah, I'm glad you showed that because I was thinking of doing that.
Yeah. So, right. There's so many, it's just kind of, markings to get you, to
Yeah.
get some in the general area rather than trying, to figure it out backwards. This is the way to go. Okay. So what I want to do in the next, short amount of time we have is to show you again, this is a pretty simple process, how to do the trace monotype, which is a way to get this line, on. And I will say that with a trace monotype, it is a great way to start a print. Of course, once you've got that down, you are going to have to deal with only transparent paint on top of it, pretty much. And it also can be used sort of, in the middle of your printing, but because it's a thin line, it's something that you may, you really want to think about how you want to learn, use it. Also, it can be very effective simply for a print without any other color, because the line quality in itself is really interesting and compelling. So let's take a look at this one. Okay, so I think some of these do not have narration, so I'm going to talk through over it. Okay, so here I am opening a container of black. I like to use black for these lines because they show up best. You don't have to, but in general, I say a darker color is preferable, really just because it shows up. So what I'm doing here is I am going to, I'm showing you here a very large brayer, by the way, because, I had asked you guys to get smaller brayers because of the size of your plate. This is a 12-inch brayer that I'm just using here just because. But I think it's interesting to show you the different possibilities out there. This one is quite expensive. This one is, it's hard to find brayers after a certain size that are cheaper because they just are made differently. This one was about $100. And I got it because I have big plates and I was also doing other kinds of printmaking. So it was worth it for me. It also, as you can see, rolls up your paint beautifully. So I'm rolling up my paint here on a smooth, non-porous surface. So I don't know what this is. It might be plexiglass, but what I'm doing now is putting on top of it a clean sheet of paper. Okay, just ignore this little blue mark. I was just using a piece of paper I had lying around. So I am not pressing down on the paper. This is very important to know. You're simply rolling up a nice smooth area. This is without, by the way, you're not using a gel plate. I forgot to mention that. Very important. In this process, you do not use a gel plate at all. This process is done on a smooth, non-porous surface. It could be plexiglass. It could be, a piece of, freezer wrap, or, just a piece of paper. Although, you want to put enough paint on there so that, it's, I'll talk more about that as we go on. So anyway, the best surface is to use something non-porous like plexiglass or the freezer wrap, as I said, and just you're spreading out your paint nice and evenly and pretty thinly. You don't actually want a thick coverage. That's what I was trying to get around saying before. Okay, so now I drop my piece of paper on top. Now I'm taking a pencil or a pen or something, and I'm going to draw my hand. This is the contour line drawing of a hand, but you can do whatever. And I'm drawing my hand on the back of the piece of paper. And I'm just drawing it with sort of even pressure. But you can make, of course, any lines that you want to. And you turn it over and you've got this really, let me just go back to show you here. Hold on. Yeah, let's hold that there. Great. So the beauty of this process is that you get a fine line, a nice crisp line. It also picks up a little bit of the background paint. And I actually like that. That's actually part of the beauty of it. And this trace monotype is a very standard printmaking technique, you know, that artists use all the time. So, you know, we are used to seeing this extra little bit of black here and there. And so if you get it, don't worry about it. You may not want a lot of it. You may want to control that. The way to control it is to you know, allow your paint to dry a little bit before you actually do your drawing. You know, in this case, you do want, you know, to have your paint not be super thick, because then you'll get just big gobs. You know, and this may take a little bit of practice, you know, before you figure out the exact right kind of amount of paint that's that you've got to print, but I'm rather to make your print. So you're really making a print only by the use of that sharp tool, you know, from the back of your brush to a pen to a pencil. It doesn't really matter, but something that's pretty thin and something that is you're picking up the paint on this side of the paper. Questions? No? Okay, I think we should just try it. Let's try this process and see what happens in the next couple of minutes. We still have a bit of time on this class, about 20 minutes. So just try a trace monotype. If you let me know if you're having trouble finding some surface that is pretty non-porous. Could be a piece of like slippery cardboard that you have lying around. Could be like you know, the cover of a notebook is good if you have trouble finding something. Wax paper is good in a even aluminum foil will work, actually. That's a good thing, whatever people probably have around. Yeah, that's great, Kate. Perfect. Kate's got a top of an old do you want to show it again? Just a top of a cover of a tub. That's really, really good. Yeah, nice. Oh, you guys are so clever. But yeah, in a pinch, aluminum foil is fine. Kate, you're muted. What did you want to say?
I'm just reviewing. A little paint, paper, trace.
Yes, and so roll out that black paint nice
Yeah.
and thin. Yeah, so
Black,
it should be thinner than thicker. Thinner is better. Yeah,
Okay.
because then you won't pick up a gob of black paint on when you're doing it. Sounds good. Okay, let's all try trace monotype. And in terms of what to draw, anything, I mean, you can just draw some lines, just make some designs on there. You know, just try it so that you can see how this is really an interesting method to pick up your paint and to add to prints or to start prints. Doesn't have to be fancy, doesn't have to be complicated, just to, you know, get the sense of that this is another way to add to your prints. Ooh, paper. Oh, well, no. and then do a bunch of them. We'll take this about 10 minutes or so. I mean, it goes really pretty quickly. The thing to watch out is don't hold your paper down with one hand because you're going to get fingerprints. I mean, that could be fine, but just know that, the best thing to do is to gently lay it on and don't touch the paper.
Too much paint.
So Adria,
Yes.
I understand that part of the thing is that you want to get the transfer from the rest of the paper as well, and that's part of the beauty.
Yeah.
But mine is not exactly coming out crisp.
Okay, so I think you probably have too much paint, Tammy. That would be one thing I would suggest.
Yep.
So roll it out. Take some of it that where you're working, and then just roll it out on something else. What are you using as your base?
Aluminum foil.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, just take another piece of aluminum foil. Take some of the paint from that one, and just
Right.
roll it up again, nice and thinly.
Okay.
And you'll see that should be pretty good.
Yeah.
You just another couple of minutes. And then what we'll do is stop, take a quick look at what people have done, and then talk about the assignment for next week, because I want us to play with both of these possibilities, both the re-registration and the transfer line. Okay, does everybody have at least one little one to show? Yeah, let's.
Can we just hold them up?
Just hold them up. Yeah, I don't think we want to take a whole lot of time to see them, because I just want to, make sure that, oh, great, Sally, you did it. Yeah, just want to see that everybody is able to get this going. Great, Mary Ellen. Yeah, yeah. Great, Katie, you have a little bit of, a more back than you need. I think it might be less paint. Less paint. Yeah, a little less paint on yours.
I did one off of that I had something underneath.
Yeah, I mean, it's actually kind of cool. It is, but if you want a little bit more crisp, you know what you do. Great.
Crisp.
Yeah, just to be a little bit crisper and maybe more pressure.
Yeah.
But yeah, great. Let's see, Nancy, I'm sorry. Can you hold it up one more time? I missed what you were doing there. I just wanted to grab people. I can. Yeah, good. All right, Kate, how did you do with that?
Yeah.
Right on the back.
Did you see that?
Yes, great. All right, these are looking good. Tammy, can I see what you did? And Ellen, let's see what you did. Because these are looking good. Yeah, good. Great. Tammy, how did that come out better? Yeah. Okay,
Yes,
right.
this is
It's
the first
better.
one.
Still
Right,
a little
and then
bit.
what's the second one?
Okay, there you go.
Yeah,
Perfect.
Exactly. And then I got it to where I like it.
Okay, yeah. So it's just a matter of really understanding how much paint, Sally, how did you do? I think you showed me. You're gonna hold it up one more time. Yeah, very good. Okay, good, everybody. So what I would love for us to do is to start with some drawings, some trace monotypes on your paper. And then you'll have to re-register or register them with your jelly plate and figure out how to add color somewhere on the piece of paper. Okay, so you're really putting both of these things together today that we learned, and see what happens with that. So for the next week, try 4, 5, 6 of them. They will all each have to be registered separately. But then, I think it will be fun to play with the transparencies on top of them and see, how that will affect, what you do next. And actually, you could also just kind of do random, it doesn't have to be, after you get it registered, after you get your paper registered, it does not have to be where you work knowing where the next color is going to be. You can just kind of go randomly after that too. So, sound like a plan?
Could you articulate that again? I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, it's fine. So
well, from the beginning.
Yeah, start by making a lot of drawings. Yeah, a lot of trace monotypes. Just do a bunch of them. Do like, I don't know. And again, you can decide to do, anything goes at all. Just get a black and white kind of thing going. And then line those up to your jelly plate one at a time, and print on them one at a time, using some transparent color and see what happens see what you want to do, how you want to add to the piece using printmaking. Does that make sense, Katie?
Yes, so we're not necessarily, we're just taking this and using this, get it registered and printing it kind of random, we're not necessarily using what the thing at the beginning that we.
Right, you don't have to. Yeah, you
Okay,
can
great.
if you want to, but you don't
Okay.
have to. That's right. 'Cause
Okay,
that
great.
that might be, I don't want anybody to get into the position where this
Yeah.
becomes too much thinking, because it shouldn't have to be that way. Just play with it using the line as a start, because we haven't done that yet. And as I said, I think it's a really wonderful way to start a print and also to add to prints, just knowing that you can do the trace monotype.
Yes.
All right, everybody.
Adria, I was gonna ask, one of the things that really helps me is to see like just visual examples.
Yes.
So if you don't have like a video, if you could just sort of, not
Yes.
that you have to use your student from last year, but just like a few examples in an email.
Of course, I will do that. Yep.
Thank you.
I will totally, yeah.
Yeah, that was great it was really helpful to look at what you sent last week. Thanks for asking for that, Kate, too.
Oh, yeah,
It was,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. You just got a sneak peek of it in that one that I showed.
Yeah.
Nancy, did you have a question? Anybody else have a question? Oh, there you go, Sally. All right, so Sally did one right there.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Oh,
it's
I see. Yeah, and that's a sample.
a little
I
sample.
added some breasts to my my original print.
I mean, whatever. Yeah.
Love
yeah.
it.
So
Love it, Sally.
right, let me just see if I can bring up that last one real quick that I was showing you all. Well, you know what? I'm not going to take the time. Yeah, don't worry. I will definitely send everybody the image that images of this particular kind of trace monotype. Yeah, and give you lots of ideas for how to do it. So great. Well, I will be
Thank you.
ending my broadcast from Tucson.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, have a great
You
trip.
hope.
So
You hope.
yeah, I was going to
Travels.
go back Saturday, but we canceled because of the snowstorm is supposed to be really bad.
Oh, perfect.
Oh, so
Yeah,
will
So-
you be here next Wednesday?
Yeah, next Wednesday I'll be back.
I have to run.
Oh,
Thank
you'll
you,
be back.
everybody.
Good luck.
Good luck getting
Thank you.
home.
I know, thank you. I think it'll be good if we go back Monday. But I know, so sad that I have to be here another couple of days. It's really tragic.
Enjoy.
Tragic.
Maybe you can print a cactus.
Yeah, yeah, I will. All right, everybody.
Okay.
See you soon.
Anyway, take
Yeah, I
care.
will not
Take
be
care.
here next week.
Okay, Katie.
I
Yeah.
might be able to pop in for a showing, but
Yeah.
as long as you record it, and I'll send some stuff of my homework.
Will do. Okay, everybody.
Thanks,
Sounds
bud.
great. Ellen, hey, do you want to spend a little time talking about how to do Padlet?
I actually, I have to admit, I have not tried to do it.
Oh,
this
okay, okay.
semester yet. So
All right. No worries. no
I'll,
worries.
you know what, I'll look on your video and see, okay?
Okay.
So I
Anytime.
won't take your
No big
time.
deal. I just thought if you wanted a little,
No, but it's much nicer if I use the Padlet.
it's a little easier for me. It's okay. All right. See you soon. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye.